Hello, my name is Theodore Schmelke. I've been watching the KeithAndrewNetwork. I was so inspired as an interviewer to tell my story, what I overcome with low self-esteem, bullying, and become an actor, performer, and how Keith's experience has helped me. He overcome many obstacles of low self-esteem and finally believe in himself, that he matters, that he can do this, and that we could both show that people with disabilities have a voice, and you could do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the KeithAndrewNetwork. We are on the road to 500. As we're 2 episodes left of this one and the next one, this is episode 498. We're finishing off season 4. Actually, season 5, I'm sorry. We're finishing off season 5, episode 498. I am your host, Keith Andrew, the one and only Keith Andrew. And I am here with Theodore Schmelke. And I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's an honor to be here.
No, the honor's all mine. For people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels don't dictate who you are and who you're going to be, is to prove to them you can break the labels. So hashtag break the labels. So that being said, half hour, 32 minutes of your time. And starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
Well, I'm 54, and I grew up myself. I had learning disabilities. It was very hard. I was bullied as a kid. But my mom got me tutors. I got into mainstream classes, but high school was very hard for me. I was not a bad reader. I could read like up to eighth grade reading. I guess my learning disabilities is mostly it takes time for me to learn things. And early on, I had a speech problem too. I'm one of 3. My brother Tom my younger brother Tom, my older sister Laura, and my mom and dad Herb and Ann. I grew up in Mineola. As a kid, I played baseball. With my learning disabilities, it took a long time for me to become a good baseball player. That was one of the achievements I had growing up. I worked very hard at it. I became a pretty good hitter. Not too much of a fielder. But I did get a high school diploma. Then I got my first job at Walbaum's, and as a wagon attendant. But I moved up to clerk, and I never thought I would have a job. I learned how to do different jobs there, stock shelves and portering. That was another accomplishment. Then I guess getting married for me was a big accomplishment. because it takes a lot of effort and it's not easy. Um, but um, I in my special classes, um, it was I had great teachers in high school and grade school. They always told me that I wasn't dumb. Just because you have disabilities doesn't mean you're stupid. You still have a lot of potential. It might take you longer to do things, um, but you have something as a human being. We all have something to offer the world, and my wife and my wife has more handicaps than me. But a little bit about me helping people with disabilities. Either just I guess for me, I'm very kind to children or adults with disabilities. Um, I try to encourage them. Um, like I sing at karaoke. There's one man who has disabilities. It takes a lot of courage for him just to sing, um, but he does it. Um, but I had my job at Walmart for 18 years. I got hurt on my job. Um, I try to think. Then I decided I wanted to get into acting and stand up comedy. So I took classes, and over the last 2 years, I've been off Broadway in plays. I was just in a play called Curtains, and that's a big accomplishment for me because even though it takes me longer to learn, it takes me longer to learn lines and the songs and dance numbers, but I have to rehearse longer than the other performers, but I'm not stupid. Um, in some ways, I'm very smart. Um, but I learn from people who have disabilities because they also have children. They have a kind heart and they understand a lot about love, about giving themselves, and I find um, people with disabilities have a lot of compassion. Um, that's all I want to share for now.
All right. Now, the next question I was going to ask you is sort of that you are an up and coming performer and you're a professional actor. Who influenced you to become an actor? And let's see, who influenced you to become an actor, and how many years have you been acting?
Who influenced me? Um, I'm trying to think. Probably probably one of my acting teachers. I took a acting class for 4 months at in the New York Improv Theater Group, and my acting teacher said that I was very talented, that I have this gift. But it was actually one of my friends was the star in the Rocky Horror Show, and he was fantastic. And well, I guess Keith, I started getting into acting before the acting. I was like 5 years ago. I started to sing at karaoke nights, and I got my nerve up, and I did well, and I saw that I love to perform, and I'm good at it, and and I did the same thing with the stand up comedy. I started doing open mics, and I took classes. Um, I try to think of movie stars. I like Jack Nicholson. Harrison Ford influenced me a lot. I think he's a great actor. Dustin Hoffman. Um, oh, I'm I'm trying. Man, also my brother that was in place. He influenced me. But I started to see that I had this talent. So in 2015, I was cast in an off-Broadway play called Life Insurance. Um, and we had the preview show, but I did very well. It's on hold for now, and I just did in Babylon, New York, a play called Curtains. I played a cowboy in a show. People, I was part of the assembly, so I had to learn 9 songs and dance numbers. Um, but I did it. I did it. I did it very well. Um, and for me, it's not all about money and fame yet, which I hope it will be. But it's more that I'm very creative. I'm also an abstract artist. I love to paint. So I've done art shows for the Mental Illness Foundation where I live in Long Island. I've been in art shows in Hofstra and Mineola Library. Um, that's about it, Keith.
All right. Now the next question is, well, for me to answer that, if one of my favorite actors, I would say I try to mirror myself after Robert Downey Jr., the guy from Suits, Harvey Specter. I try to carry myself like Eric Bischoff, Vince McMahon. Um, I try, some people would say with the hat, I look like John Cena without the hat. When I shave my head, I kind of look like Randy Orton. I'm a big wrestling fan, so I kind of carry myself with a higher standard than other people. Life is this, but I like this. And it's just your life. It's about what you make it and how you make it. If God gives you a shitty hand, first off, I tell people you have to wash your hands. And second of all, you have to make the best out of it. And it's about making the best out of worst case scenarios. It's like, okay, this is the hand I was dealt. Let's see what I can do with it. And it's about showing you, hey, I was labeled handicapped, retarded, mentally disturbed, whatever. I read and learn at a 5th grade level. I graduated with an IEP diploma. Basically, what that was is you want to learn a trade, you want to work on a refrigerator, you want to work on a car. That's great, wonderful, terrific, hooray. But I don't want to do that. I wanted to do this. And the reason I'm doing this is because I got tired of the same conversation with my family. And because I'm the youngest out of four brothers and 1 sister. So we used to sit around during dinner times like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. Poor me, poor that. And it's like, oh, go talk to him. He has connections. Go talk to her. She has connections. I said, what about me? It's like, what about you? You're not educated. You're not qualified. You don't have a master's. You don't have a BA. You can't hold down a job. You piss people off. Okay, yes, sometimes I do because I rub people the wrong way. You piss people off. You have poor mannerisms. And you're not qualified to do anything. So I said, screw it. I'm going to show you with a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And thanks to you, we're about to start season 6. This June, pat myself on the back, will be officially 5 years since I've been doing my show. And I came a long way from, doing 70, don't actually, every time I say this, unless I had a quarter, it seemed like a good idea at the time, because when I did my show, I was doing audio. I was like, oh, I can work as Blog Talk Radio, record it and upload it, then I have to pay for it, and then it's like $40, and if I don't have the episodes, it's kind of like, what's the point? So I did 72 phone interviews from Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Dragon Ball Z, Power Rangers, and people say, you have this great format. Why aren't you as big or bigger than you portray yourself to be? Why don't you have people helping you? Why don't you have sponsors? I don't know. I'm doing the best I can with a disability. Would you like to help me with it? No, if you can't do it yourself, then it's not meant to be. Alright. So one guy said to me, do it over, try a different approach. And thanks to the guy, I did video. And again, I made another mistake. This is my second mistake. Because I originally got 300 interviews. And little by little, people were saying, yeah, my agent said, my publicist said, you ask a lot of stupid questions. You ask a lot of questions come out of left field. We don't like the video quality. Because when I started, it was how there you are. How you see on the reflection, it's what the camera got. So if you watch season 1 and 2, you see a transition from now to then. I could have done this from the start. Maybe I should have. But I wanted to show you over the 4.5 years, there was a transition from the phone, from the camera, to the computer screen, now cut in half. And I wanted to show you my process. And I was just showing you, and it's pretty much just saying, if I did it right the first time and made it all perfect and everything, then people would say, we don't see the disability. We don't see any flaws. We don't see anything that, there's a label saying disability. There's nothing there. So I did everything my way, and of course I did it ass backwards. Because second time when I did it, I was taking people at their word. Hey, take for an example, Theodore, you want to be on the show? You said yes. No permission form. Then you would have said, I made up idle threats. Yeah, my agent, my publicist, my wife, my kids, whatever excuses you want to use. My doctor, my eye doctor, says it's degrading. Why are you doing it with people like this? Take it down. We're going to sue you. So I took them all down. And originally I was called Uncensored. So I changed the name from Uncensored to the KeithAndrewNetWork. And so now I'm calling myself the KeithAndrewNetWork. And I don't do any interviews unless you sign a permission form. And it's like, here's the form. I introduce myself. I tell you what I'm going to do with it. As long as it doesn't discriminate against you and me, it's fine. Once you sign, it's a done issue. Done. Period. And people are like, make idle threats later. Yeah, well, I didn't read it. And it's like, what do you mean you didn't read it? You just ran it. I'm not like one of those things you scroll up. And it's like, yeah, accept the consequences. I told you what I did multiple times. My name, show, and you sign it. It's like, oh, well, you can save your excuses for all you want. You sign it, you're going to honor it. Period. You don't want to do another interview? Fine, whatever. But for this period of time, you're wasting my time, I'm wasting your time, we're going to do the interview. So I don't do any interviews without people signing the permission form. That's what I should have done from the beginning. But thanks to you, we're back up to 498. So yeah, I did about 300. So that's 6. If you want to, this season 5 will be 7. So yeah, about 700 interviews in total. But it was all of a learning experience. And I'm doing this all by myself. I'm showing you, hey, this kid has a disability, he's retarded, whatever. But look at what he was able to create. Look at what he was able to do by himself, given the opportunity. And I'm showing you, someone who reads and learns at a 5th grade level, this is my passion. I want to do this until the day I die. And with that being said, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I'm going to pass the show over to you for the last 12 minutes.
Arlene Schofield.
My name is Shireen Snow.
My name is Carla A. Miles.
Diana Camuto.
This is Christine Dunford.
I'm me, Eden.
Caroline Macy. This is Walker Fannin.
I'm Camille Dixon.
I'm Masada Dates Wardam.
My name is Linda Preston, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network.
Russo, me, Mark Medley.
Hi everybody, this is Mark Neely.
Barry Papick.
This is Peter Bruno.
My name is Kyle Collier.
This is Julio Santiago, better known as Dynamite.
I'm Richard Epcar.
Orange Chow.
This is Kerrigan Mahan.
This is Goldar.
And we both support
Keith Andrew.
My name is Ron Wasserman, and I am supporting Keith Andrew and what he is doing, and you better do the same, or I'm gonna come kick your ass.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 498. I am your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is Theodore Schmelke. And with the last 13 minutes and counting, I have the last two very easy questions for you. Then I will pass the show over to you. So basically, I will ask my two questions. And with that being said, I will pass it to you. First one is, with your acting career, was it really difficult to get into acting with having a learning disability? And while on that subject, the second part is, what would you recommend for people with disabilities? How would they go about getting into the acting career?
I try to think. It took me a long time in my life to believe in myself that I was, and to believe that I was talented. But you have, I think social media, you have all these different agencies, management, acting coaches, but I'm trying to think. After I took the sketch acting class in 2015, I believed in myself. So I started taking online on camera classes in New York City. And my acting coach, you know, the basic stuff as an actor, you have to get your headshots, your resume, but that's when you have sort of a little career. But I started going to networking events for the actors. Manhattan Monologue Slam in New York City, which is you do a 30-second monologue from plays or movies, or you make your own monologue up, and you perform in front of judges. That was one of the ways I got into the business. Then I saw directors and acting coaches, and I signed up with management. I went to a couple of their events, VIP. But there are social media, a lot of networking events on social media for New York City. You can find, which is a big thing, because you see everybody from the industry, from modeling to acting. I don't think you always need. Some people do it without an agency or management. That's like castingnetwork.com. New York City casting is pretty good, getting gigs. So social media, can help you. But I was told a great way to get into acting is doing community theater, which I didn't start doing until later. But community theater has helped me also with my acting. Of course, it's free, And I got taught with musical theater, dancing. Over the last 2 years, I was off Broadway in life insurance, which wasn't too musical, but I had hands-on experience. So doing background is a big step to get into acting, because there's a lot of background gigs, paid or not paid. I also been involved with the Brooklyn Comedy Bob, where you make a sketch from a video, and that's once a month. But there's a lot of networking events. There's a lot to learn about the business. It's a very ugly business, acting, especially in New York. It's very competitive. I think you have to ask yourself a couple of questions. Do you want to make a living out of this, or do you just want to be creative? And I know people who don't want to make any money, who are just happy being on a sketch team. And for some people, it's not all about the money. That they just do community theater or just background. I think I have the talent to be in the business. I do have the talent to make it, but it's an ugly business. A lot of unfair things happen. But I'm trying to think, as a background, last year was a big thing. I was in an Al Pacino movie in Long Island. I was filming Hofstra, and I played a reporter. So that was a big thing. It was a big cast of like 500 people, men and women. We were in a football stadium, and we had to dress in winter clothes. It was hot. So you have to learn a lot about patience, being in front of the camera, and but it was good hands-on experience. Then in February, I was a background for Tony Danza in The Bronx, and Good Cop. I was an audience. And Bob Saget was it. That was a fantastic experience. It was like a 12-hour day, but there's a lot of background's a great way to get into acting, into the business, because you learn how to be in front of a camera. You get paid most of the time, and doing community theater is a big thing. But some people get agents or management. There's Backpage, social media. There's a lot of casting networks you can get into. There's a fee. You get a headshot. They make a resume up for you. I know some people gone that way, but I'm trying to think. I have a little my stand-up comedy. I graduated from stand-up university in Belmore, New York. I got trained for about 10 weeks. And then even though I do well on the stand-up, it's a hard business. I sort of have to get over. I don't like to follow rules. I don't like some of the rules that club bookers have, but it takes a lot of guts to go in front of an audience, to get over your stage fright, remember your material, to stay confident, to get your timing right, and you get people who say mean things to you, and New York sometimes could be a tough audience. you have to have a lot of backbone as an actor or a stand-up comedian. It takes a lot of courage. I guess in this interview, I had to tell myself I have a lot of guts because I sort of started this process and did a lot of stuff already. But I've been getting over my stage fright. It's probably a total miracle I'm at this stage. I never thought I would make something of my person because I had so much self-hatred growing up. Maybe my learning disabilities weren't so severe as other people were, but I had a very bad speech problem growing up. And I don't know if people with disabilities still get bullied, but I was really bullied bad. Told I was no good, ugly, and people told me my whole life I was stupid. You can't do this. I had people telling me I can't go down this road with the acting, but I have to live my life. You only live on this world one time. I would say people with the acting, start with community theater. It's probably the best way because it's free. Read different monologues, Shakespeare. Read different monologues. There's monologues from on Google for TV and movies. Start reading a monologue that you sort of want to do. Learn characters. I'm very tall. I'm 6'4". People think I don't want to always play the tough guy just because I'm big. I'm very sensitive. Like roles, I think I want to play like Morgan Freeman's role in Driving Miss Daisy, or To Kill a Mockingbird would be a good role for me. That Gregory Peck played, or I've been working on Of Mice and Men.
To let you know, we're getting to the 3-minute mark. Then we have to start wrapping up.
Okay, I'm done, Keith. I hope I didn't talk too much.
No, it's perfect. Now, let's the last couple minutes left. How can people follow you on social media? Are you on Twitter, Stage 32, LinkedIn, Instagram? Are you on any of those?
Oh no, I'm just on Facebook.
All right. And now, wrapping up our talk show, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first impression, and what made you say yes?
Well, I was inspired by you, Keith. I guess I like your face. I learned that you'd be talking about disabilities. I like your topic, but I liked your face. There was something about the way you looked honest. There's no way. I don't have really big answers for you. I like that you had a platform to talk about this, and it sounded very inspiring to me. That's what I was attracted to. Maybe if I'm on this interview with you, I inspire, because that's what I'm about, inspiring people these days.
No, absolutely. I do have a couple questions for you off the air. While wrapping up our interview segment, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.
Oh, thank you, Keith, for your time.